Hello, Oak Park residents and business owners. I am coming to you today from Oak Park City Hall, where I will be discussing this year's budget. First, I'd like to go over a few of the things that I'll be discussing in the budget overview. While I'll be talking about next year's budget, it's important to remember that the City of Oak Park, as of last year, now does a 3-year budget. That means that the city's budget is balanced for the next 3 years. In fact, we will have not only a balanced budget, we will also have about a 17 to 18% general fund balance, or rainy day fund. I will also be talking about some of the strategic plan priorities laid out by City Council and how some of our initiatives fit into those. I will then be talking about some of our challenges in terms of our current economic environment, as well as some of the highlights of the budget in the form of opportunities. In 2013, City Council adopted a strategic plan that consisted of 6 priority areas of focus, each with measurable objectives to guide the city through the year 2019. You should know that I continue to work with my staff to accomplish these individual objectives and meet City Council's goals. Throughout this presentation, you will see how this year's initiatives are helping the city work towards these goals. We have to look back to look forward. And remember that when I arrived at the city in 2012, the city was facing a crippling budget deficit. As you can see, the city was faced with a very significant operating deficit. Changes had to take place. So, what are some of our other challenges? Since 2002, revenues to the communities around the state of Michigan went down 56%, while revenues to the state of Michigan went up 27%. Those aren't my numbers, those are the numbers of the Michigan Municipal League. This means that the state of Michigan funds its cities the very worst out of all 50 states in our nation. Some of the other things more specific to the budget here, we'll be losing the COPS grant that we have normally received to help offset some of the costs for our officers to the tune of about $150,000. We will also see taxable values rise, but we are only able to capture a small portion of the market value increase of those properties. So let me summarize. Property values are increasing in Oak Park, and that is welcome news. But while they are increasing, the state of Michigan limits our ability to capture revenue on those increases. It is a very minimal 1% or so capture. As you can see here, the sharp decline in the total taxable value of the City of Oak Park has a direct effect on the amount the city receives from 1 mill. This severely decreases the amount of revenue the city receives from property taxes for public services. And remember, property taxes are the largest proportion and source of our revenue. Here are some of our other challenges. As you know, City Council only passed on half of the recommended percentage increase for the current year, not the new budget year, but the current year. We have developed a template, an operating model, if you will, for devising how our rate structure will look. So, for the next 3 years, City Council is recommending a 6%, 4.5%, and then a 7% combined water and sewer rate increase for water and sewer. This is well in line and on par with communities around us. In fact, as you can see from the graph, Oak Park is really in the middle in terms of rate structure compared to cities around us. You heard me talk about the city's general fund balance, or rainy day fund, and I'd like to again stress the importance that the city maintains a healthy general fund balance to maintain its very important operations. This includes emergency services. The city needs to have funds on hand to protect against the unforeseen. Now, City Council recommends through policy that we have about 10% set aside. That means 10% of the general fund amount set aside for the rainy day fund, if you will. And we have made a recommendation for next year to have about 17% set aside. So we are on very good terms with our fund balance and, as much as we possibly can, protect it against the unforeseen. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about opportunities, one of which is in our Public Safety Department. We have a couple of very important initiatives that I feel are going to go a very long way in terms of promoting the city and that department. First, we are adding a K-9 unit to our Public Safety Department ranks. This is the first time the City of Oak Park Public Safety Department will have had a K-9 unit. The department is excited, I know the community is excited, as am I. I think this is exactly what this department needs in order to maintain the best and brightest. We will also be adding some very unconventional programs. Like, for example, we'll be adding an ice cream truck program into our public safety department. This means that we will be sending out an ice cream truck or a public safety vehicle dressed as an ice cream truck with officers serving free ice cream to our residents throughout the neighborhoods. This is not meant to scare people or deter people. This is solely meant to build trust and begin marketing our department the way it should be. It's very, very important that you know that using your tax dollars wisely, we are going to be hiring one new public safety officer for each of the 3 years in the 3-year budget. We would like to maintain the highest quality of integrity in our department among our officers. Another great opportunity for the city, as I mentioned at the outset, is the conversion of all of the city streetlights to LED. This is important because it'll save us approximately $150,000 a year going forward. As always, we are putting a continued focus on economic development initiatives. Some of our economic development projects are beginning to pay very good dividends to the city government. There will be a lot of construction going on in the city of Oak Park, and you may ask why this is important. It's important because Oak Park is a fully built-out community. Most notably is the FedEx ground facility at 8 in Greenfield. This is how, projects like this is how we are growing the city's tax base. As you can see, we have had a multitude of new business starts, and again, this is reflective of some of the initiatives that we've put in place. And as always, we will be continuing to invest in public facilities, infrastructure, and equipment. These investments are very important because they help continue the high-quality services and infrastructure that you've grown accustomed to. We'll also be adding some additional, more aesthetic improvements. One, the water tower. We're going to take this opportunity to paint the water tower in an aesthetically pleasing way that helps brand the city's image. We'll also be doing a 696 Coolidge Overpass Bridge project. This is not an infrastructural project, it is an aesthetic project, but we believe this will help brand the city's image for the many thousands of people who drive on 696 every single day. These projects will begin this summer and they will continue into the fall. The coming budget year and the 2 years thereafter represent very exciting times for the city of Oak Park. Not only are we making investments in the city's infrastructure and in making sure that we have a stable budget, we are also making investments in quality of life amenities throughout the city. We are hoping to be able to move forward with the 9 Mile Road redo project, among the many others, some of which I have mentioned here as part of today's presentation. It's also important that I take this opportunity to thank you for all of your support throughout this year. I also should thank our great staff, and I would also like to thank the members of City Council, the Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and the members of City Council for their support. All of these different groups of people are what make this city a very special place and are what make this city go. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again next year.